I used to call me early. Anybody else gonna break that piece?
It's I check it. It's good. Two.
But even though it's two, if it goes in and out,
Oh, okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Please put your phones on vibrate to shut them off before we start the khutbah, so as not to disturb the Jumu'ah for yourself or others. Inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, you will be rewarded greatly. Please put your phones on vibrate and shut them off. And for the brothers, we may have to move up if it gets crowded. So Rasulullah used to say this in the khutbah. And alhamdulillah, نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن خير الكلام كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى وخير هدى هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها إن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وبعد. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mighty, the sublime. We seek His help, we seek His assistance, and we seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves, from bad consequences, the evil consequences of all evil deeds. Kama tadinu tadan. You shall reap what you sow. Or mada ajaza'u min jins al-amal. And things, consequences, match the actions. This is the qaida to Islamic diniya. Ajaza'u min jins al-amal. That if you do good, the reward, the payback, the recompense will be good. And if you do bad, then out of fairness and justice, then there's no other way for you to get anything back except that. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Maliki yawm ad-din, wa fi riwayatin, qira'atan sahihani, Maliki yawm ad-din and Maliki yawm ad-din. Malik, the one who owns everything, and Malik, the one who's going to judge you and give you your recompense. Kama tudinu tadan, just as you did, you shall get. And this is a very important principle in the religion, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Hal jaza'u ihsan illa ihsan. And this is a rhetorical question where Allah is asking, when someone does the best, the highest, extending themselves and going all out and making sure that they accommodate themselves with worship, accommodate the deen of Allah, accommodate others in life, then is that pay back anything other than ihsan? Of course not. You will get ihsan, the highest, if you do the highest. وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٍ مِثْلُهَا. And Allah said in the other ayah, and the one who does evil, then he has to get back evil like he did. One who does evil, they did evil, they have to get evil back like they did. We ask Allah to save us from evil. I mean. So today, inshallah, wa ta'ala, bear with me, the khutbah is going to be different. It's going to really reflect your Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that great generation that lived with him, his Hawariyun, his disciples. As he mentioned them in the hadith as Hawariyun. Allah mentioned us as Hawariyun, those who were not with the messenger, but we aid the deen after him. وَأَصْحَابُهُ رَضِوَانُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Those great generations that came with him, and then after him, the three generations, the companions. That's the generation of the Prophet. وَمَا بَعْدَهُمْ, they were called tabi'in because they followed the companions, but they didn't meet the Prophet. Then those that followed them, they can't be called tabi'in because they're not following the companions. They're called tabi'in. Use the word twice. The followers of the companions. These are the three generations that Allah mentioned in the Quran. It said, min al-muhajirin wal ansar. Now, those first early Muslims, from those who left Mecca, driven out, and they went to those who received them, and Allah thus gave them victory till the religion reached the whole world. So today the talk is a little technical, but the point is to be understood. It's very important, especially in this day and time. We're living in the last days. All of the signs that are the minor signs have not been exhausted. There are just a few, the ulama say, of minor signs before the major signs. Major signs means we really, really right there. No more pianos close. And Allah protect us, I mean. Serious issue. And we're living in an environment that is so toxic, so evil, while at the same time so great. And هذا من حكمة الله سبحانه وتعالى بلا شك ولا ريب ومن مشيئته. This is from the unknown knowledge that we don't know, but Allah knows why. This is from the deep wisdom that only Allah knows why He did it like this, and it's tremendous. Wow, one of the main things that we have to do wherever we are as deviation is spreading is to know what is deviation. To know how to hold to the book of Allah, the sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's the real core of your shahada. That's the real core of the meaning of the shahada. Shahada.
Taini. They said, what does the Shahada, the two of them stand for? La ilaha illallah, or ashhadu, and again we emphasize ashhadu because many times the people call the line and maybe we don't hear ourselves, we say ashhadu. It's up and ha. The ha, like you say hat. Imagine you say, give me my at, but you left the H off. This is the same thing with the Shahada. When we say he or she is a new Shahada, everybody gets that right. Nobody says he or she is a new Shaddada. Nah, it's the Shahada. The ha, which is like hat, the H is there. When someone gets ready to call the Adhan, ala to it. Ashhadu an la, Allahumma ustani, drop it. So we emphasize this again. Yani, al-iqtida, al-shahadataini. What does the shahadataini? Taini means two. Bintaini, two daughters. Ibnataini, two sons. Kitabaini, two books. Now people are going to be in trouble if I say Zojataini. Allah Musta'an, two eyes. Allah Musta'an. But the point in the Arabic language, Taini, in this case, means two. Tani or Taini, depending on the sex. So here's Shahadataini, the two things we bear witness to. That's Allah and His Messenger, being the only one to be obeyed. But the Shahada to Allah, they said it stands for means La na'budu illallah, that we only worship Allah. And that's very broad. Very broad. Anything that you do, anything you say, anything you feel, if it's in accordance with the book of Allah and Sunnah, write it down as worship in general. Not just pray, but I'm going to go drink a beer, I'm worship. Nah, worship is to stay away from the beer too. Worship, I prayed, but I just prayed one salat a day, I still owe 4, I'm good. That's not worship. Worship is all 5 salat. Worship is not, I just made dhikr, but now I'm going to talk about my fellow Muslim brother or sister like a dog. Lie. Keeping and guarding the tongue, hit the lisan, this is worship. Keeping the tongue free from backbiting. Except if you have no other choice to warn about something or there's a danger, and we mean a real danger. Because sometimes we have a danger in our head, but there's no danger. So this is the iqtida, the shahada. That we only serve, worship, totally depend, devote our life, and only want to die pleasing Allah. So we don't mean suicide bombing when we say die. I know the FBI and the CIA, we giving you da'wah too, because you in here, as we say back home, you in her. Yeah. We talking about dying in a good state as a Muslim, not blowing up something, killing something, get yourself together. In the Shahada to Muhammad, Allah na'budu Allah illa bima shara'a. Very important. This is the highlight of the khutbah. That we only worship Allah on what was legislated, what the Prophet taught us. Very important. Don't talk. You're going to blow your Jumu'ah. No one should talk to the Jumu'ah. Don't look at the phones. I can't see, but I know it goes down because people do it all over the world. Texting, strolling. No, you could stay home and do that. That's for Starbucks or the library. Or, I'm not going to say while you're driving. People do it. Allah Musta'an. Don't text, scroll, and drive. Likewise, not in the khutbah. You need this for your soul. Believe it or not. And if you're young and you think it's a game, you will see in 10, 15, 20 years, you say, wow, I'm a young adult. I'm stressed out. What do I do? Now you realize you need Jumu'ah. Imam Muslim. Who is Imam Muslim? He's from the 3rd generation. As you have the Sahaba, then you have the 2nd generation and 3rd generation Imam Muslim, Imam Bukhari. They're from our Salaf, meaning those who are from those 3 generations, the blessed generations. He mentioned in his Sahih, Kitab al-Iman, the issue of faith, belief in your heart, your statements and actions. Because some people think iman is just in the heart. That's a misconception. That iman, يعني ماذا في القلب, it's in the heart. في اللسان, it's يعني على اللسان, نعم, it's on your tongue. ويعني وعلى الجوارح. The Prophet mentioned all the evidence for this, and it's on your limbs. When you pray, that's iman. That's not in your heart. Your heart is attached, but you're making the physical ruku', bowing, and rafa' amin, and raise. That's an action with the limbs. So he mentions in his Kitab al-Sahih, Bab al-Nahi al-Munkar min al-Iman. Al-Nahi al-Munkar min al-Iman, trying to prevent an evil, being against the evil is from Iman. And of course you have to firstly have knowledge that thing is evil. Sometimes people, we jump the gun and we don't know, we mean well, but we mean you really know that thing without a doubt. There's no debate, it's wrong. This hadith, Imam Muslim, he mentioned, قال Imam Muslim رحمه الله تعالى حدثنا أبو بكر ibn Abi Shayba. He narrates from his Shaykh, Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shayba. And somebody say the chain is, why he's pulling that in the khutbah? That's from the student. You will get a lot of benefit out of this. This is how the Quran is preserved. Quran has chains. When you open the Quran, you don't see it. They didn't write it in there. So you can read fluently for worship and memorization. But likewise, the hadith has chains. That's how we know what's sahih, what we take and what's not. So he narrates on his Shaykh Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shayba, قال حدثنا نعم قال حدثنا وكيع نعم وكيع ibn Jarrah. This is the one that Imam Malik went to, his contemporary and his Shaykh, and he complained about Su'hif. I'm losing my memory. I can't get it, and I used to get it. He told him, leave the ma'asi. And all Imam Malik did was see a lady's shin in the marketplace. Can you imagine? You see a lady's shin and it affects your memory because that's sinful. What you thought about when you seen it. How long you looked at it. And we're seeing cleavages. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Butt cheeks. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Fake hair. وَاللَّهُ مُسْتَعَانٍ. Eyelashes, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In some cases, suratul furuj, the shape of somebody's private. And we wonder why we can't memorize, we can't hold the knowledge, it's leaving. So Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shayba, the first Shaykh of Imam Muslim, he said, it was told to us by Waqi', now, Jarrah, and Sufyan al-Thawri. There's a Sufyan al-Thawri and Uyayna. This is Thawri. The chain stops here. What's important about this? One of the ways you know the hadith in Sahih Muslim is Sahih, because he brings so many narrations on that one issue from that one person, you can't reject it. Because many times the people ask, the hadith in Bukhari Muslim, are they sahih? Well, I heard when somebody said, listen, this is one way you know this hadith is sahih. Ha here means, yani tahwil al-sanad. Like you're on a train. In track 1, the train can go track 1 to track 2. That train that goes to track 2 is going to meet back up at the end of that track with track 1 where it ends up, and both those trains are going to be in Penn Station. 2 different tracks, 2 different chains, the same destination on the same companion. وحدثنا محمد ابن مثنى. This is the second chain. قال حدثنا محمد ابن جعفر. Narrated from his Shaykh. Now, قال حدثنا طارق بن شهاب. لا قال محمد بن مثنى, محمد بن جعفر, then after محمد بن جعفر, then it's يعني ماذا حدثنا حدثنا شعبة ابن حجاج عن كيس ابن مسلم عن طارق ibn Shihab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Tariq ibn Shihab is companion. But look, he narrates this story that comes from Abi Sa'id al-Khudri. It's from the ulama, one of the scholars of the companions during the time of the Prophet. It's that أول من بدل الصلاة بخطبة مروان ibn Hakim. The first person that wanted to change the Eid around. Juma, I'm giving khutbah. Now we're going to pray. But Eid is the opposite. You pray first, and then you do khutbah. Juma, khutbah first, salat second. Yom al-Eidaini, the two Eid, salat first, then khutbah. Khutbah Yom al-Juma, wajib. Have to attend it. If it's on you along with the salat. You can't say, well, I'll just go when it's time to pray because I don't want to hear that guy, I don't like him. No. You have to purposely, no matter where you go with the intention to hear the khutbah and then pray, you get credit. I mean, Yom al-Eidaini falaysa hakada. As for the two Eids, it's not like that. For those scholars that said Eid is wajib, then you pray. Then the khutbah, the Prophet said, whoever wants to stay, let him stay. Whoever wants to go, let him go. Meaning the khutbah to read, mustahab. Highly recommended. So Marwani said, today, I'm switching this bad boy. I'm going to give the speech first because if I pray, yukumu alayna nas. People are going to stand up after we pray and someone's going to leave and not hear what I have to say. And he was the Amir, the leader during his time. How about that? Kind of Amir. So as he stood up to give the khutbah, qabl salat, قام رجل وقال الصلاة قبل الخطبة خشيا أنه ربما نسي, fearing that maybe the Amir he forgot. This is not Jumu'ah, this is Eid. So Marwan responded to him. He said, قد ترك ما هنالك. قد ترك ما هنالك. Today we changing this, as we say, we changing this joint. I'm the Amir. I got this. ثم قام أبا سعيد الخدري, one who heard the Prophet say this, and he said, قد قضى عليه. This has already been mentioned by the Prophet. من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده. Whoever sees the evil, let him change it with his hand. فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه. If he can't change it with his hand, and here it doesn't mean physically, but you have to weigh the circumstances.Maybe you changing something, maybe you correcting something is going to be a bigger problem than the problem itself. And if you can't do nothing, you have to at least disapprove of it, not like it in your heart. And then the Prophet said, وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. That's the least, the weakest of faith. That's the least, the weakest of faith. Some scholars said changing it with the hand, مَاذَا لِلسُّلْطَانِ. It's for the leaders. Nah, for the umrah, those people in authority. Some said, well, بِالْلِسَانِ لِلْعُلَمَاءِ. It's for the scholars. وَفِي الْقَلْبِ يعني مَاذَا لِلْعَوَامِ. And that's for the general people to disapprove of something, because when you don't like something, guess what? You disapprove of it. How many times you don't like something, you say, no, I'm not upset, no, I'm good, but we can see it on your face. The scholar said, when you disapprove of that thing in your heart, it shows on your face. SubhanAllah. That's the least you got to do. That's the least you got to do. But the ulama who corrected that mentality, the hand is for the people in charge, the tongue is for the scholars, everybody else who just hate this. No. لا تعينوا على أي شخص. It's not particular for anybody, because the Prophet said, من. وفي اللغة العربية من يفيد العموم. It's general. They said, however, it's based upon, number one, your iman, because you may catch some flack. People think when you deal with something, it has to come back, no results, no problem. No, it wouldn't be tested. But if it's 60% good and 40%, problem, and the problem already was big, then you see. If it's going to be no bloodshed but some yelling, okay. We yell all the time. Now we're yelling to fix something. It's a big problem. You didn't use hikmah. Are you serious? If it's going to be a bigger problem, then you leave that evil until you figure out how to minimize the effect of you changing that evil. But what's the issue? Do we leave every issue with that? By default, just leave it. Nah. Why? Because removing the evil, challenging the evil, stopping the evil is from iman. It's not if my desires feel like it, I'm going to do it. Today I don't feel like I don't have to do it. Well, I have a choice. It's recommend. No, it's wajib. Remember, no, we said. You can see from the Siqat al-Laf of Nabi al-Kareem, the way the Prophet said, فَيَغِيرَهُ Nah, هَذَا fil amr. That's a command. And those who talked about the leadership and the scholars, they said, however, if you see that they're the ones that have the ability to do it without a big problem in the common folk or the other people that want to exercise that don't, then they are most preferred. But it's not particular just to them, and nobody else can do this. And they said the first thing you're going to enjoin of good, which is the opposite of preventing evil, is on yourselves. Many times we look to say to somebody, don't do this, don't do that, and we're doing the same thing live. Goes both ways. Now, it goes both ways. As the Tafsir Abu Bakr Siddiq mentioned, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, alaykum bi anfusikum, la yadurrukum man dalla idha tadaytum. He said, you all read this ayah, but you read it with a bad understanding, because it doesn't mean mind your business. Which literally, it looks like that. So Allah said, alaykum anfusikum. But they said, no, that's not what it means. It means if you see something that is on you, if you can change that evil. And if you don't do it, or you do it, and like in this case, Marwan didn't listen and said, we changed this anyway, then it doesn't harm you because you tried. It doesn't harm you because you tried. It's on him. And that evil that he creates, everybody that it touches, he's going to be responsible for it. So it doesn't mean mind your business. No, it means that is our business. We're a family. We're Muslim. Part of Iman, you prohibit, you dislike the evil. If you can stop it, you stop it. There's another narration in Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, same issue. He said that the Prophet, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam called, man in Nabiyyin, there's no prophet. There's no prophet. Ba'athahu Allahu fi ummatin qabl. There's no prophet that came before me that Allah sent. No prophet. Not in one. Except Allah Ta'ala blessed that prophet. Except Allah Ta'ala guided that prophet. Except Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala made that prophet from those who Allah Ta'ala gave guidance in this issue. Gave knowledge in this issue. And the Prophet said that prophet, from the many prophets, all of them, they themselves, they had Hawariyun wa Ashabun. They had those Hawariyun, means those who, it could have two meanings. They didn't meet the prophet, but they are those who came after him, and they are eager to practice and to guard the religion. While Sahaba, those that met him. Or Hawariyun can take the meaning of a Sahaba. The scholars say either or. The Prophet is mentioning this to show it reaches everybody. That every prophet that came, Allah sent him and gave him guidance in this area and made people support يعني بسنتي بالسنة ويعتدي يعني بعمله. They are people who paid attention to his way. They are people that tried to emulate him. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, ثم إنها تخلف من بعدهم خلف. Then some people will come after these generations. And these people, والله المستعان, يقولون ما لا يفعلون. They will say stuff that they don't do. Allah said, لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون. Why do you say what you don't do? كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون. It's hated in the sight of Allah. You say something and you don't do it. People will come later after those prophets and they will say stuff that they don't do. Hypocritical. And they will do actions that they have not been commanded to do, rather they have been prohibited, like bid'ah. Just all the narration the Prophet is talking about is one thing, from Iman, to do right and to change something. All prophets have been given that, and people came with them and after them to keep that work up. وفي رواية يهتدوا بهدي. Now, they are those who practice his guidance, ويستسنون بسنته, and they are those who carry on that prophet's way. This is a serious issue. When we talk about culture, not throwing rocks at a glass house, because everybody's in this together. But wallahi, sometime, and you, wallah musta'an, somebody may be sitting here last week, they asked me something. And they're talking about culture. Or they're talking about, Methodism. Yeah, I mean, people learn stuff back home. People understand things different ways. But we've been commanded to follow our Nabi, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi wa sallam. You can see that even you be Amir like Marwan. You can't change something and it's okay. Because we think it, or we like it, or it's, something that is, suitable, or comfortability. Lie. That is the thing that upholds your shahada to Allah, that we only obey and worship Allah. And that we only worship and obey Allah based upon how the Prophet taught us. And we ask Allah on this blessed day of Jummah to bless this to be something that sinks in. To humble us. Because we are a chosen people by that way, and we are the people that will live by that way and be resurrected by that way, or live against that way and be resurrected against that way. A'adhu billah and hada, and I seek refuge in Allah for me and you from that. Wallahu musta'an. So sabak ala nabiyina Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala rasulillah ma ba'd. Just some few points that when we talk about this issue, we need a series of khutbah Fridays. But it's a difficult issue because everybody has ada, culture. Everybody comes from something. Many times we hear the people, especially I'm imam, so I hear it. Other imams, we hear it, we witnessed it. I've been in a lot of communities since I came home from studying. 10 years in the mountains of Yemen. The likes of this, not bragging, but just giving you a glimpse. The likes of this Sahih Muslim, we studied this every night. Bayn al-Maghrib wa Isha. With ulama. Tafsir ibn Kathir. Which will have this class in the masjid. We studied this 3 times a week. Sahih al-Bukhari. Nafsul Shaykh. We study every day after Salat al-Asr. People in the whole of this world don't get that opportunity. And some people try to study it with one sheikh, he gets sick, he takes a break, he travels. One sheikh said it took them 20 years to finish the Tafsir al-Kathir. SubhanAllah. Stop talking in the bathroom, you're in the Jumu'ah. Ya akhi, taqillah, malaka. What's up with you? You blowing your Jumu'ah and you disturbing us. Where are you? Allah Musta'an. Asking somebody, where are you? No, where are you? Sit down and benefit. Maybe you'll get something. Jazakumullah khair. That's an example of stopping something evil. Nah. The point is that many times the people that say, well, we didn't learn this before, or back home we learned. Nah, that's true. Why is he saying something? Nobody else said anything. SubhanAllah. But look what would have happened if they didn't say nothing to Marwan ibn Hakam. Don't say nothing. He's the Amir. Nah. Watch it. And perhaps that person who taught you that back home, who said he knew? Maybe he was mislearned. Maybe he read it in a book, but it's not the books of scholars. It's a book of somebody who put something together in good faith. We talk about madhab-isms. Those regions, people study this and that. But you'll be amazed. You sit maybe with a sheikh and he'll say, yeah, this country we follow as a country, Maliki madhab, but really I prefer and I follow a lot of times Shafi madhab. But you don't sit with him, you don't know that. Why? Because you follow the text. We've been commanded to follow the Prophet. Somebody's phone, shut it off. We're struggling, boys. And we can't correct everything, but we're struggling. May Allah help us, guys. Shut it off, akhi. Taqillah. Allah musta'an. What's more important than this? You're going to go maybe chase some dunya and stuff for Allah. Maybe somebody run a light and then we hear also you in intensive care. It's just that quick. Just that quick. It don't take long. I'm here today, maybe you'll hear next week the Shaikh he died. It doesn't take much. We don't know when the time. We got to reroute and reconnect our wires. This is serious. You got on your mind the phone ringing. You should have on your mind the hereafter. Allah Musta'an. May Allah help us all. It's a struggle. So I'm glad I can't see. And don't say, oh Allah, give him his vision. But I'm happy. Well, the name I'm. No, wallahi. And this is a struggle for people who don't understand. All that fitna, Allah has saved me from it. With challenges, with different, he saved me from that. Maybe if I had my vision, I'll be worse than those people. Scrolling, pouring, phone, looking, khutbah, checking it in salat, this, that, waking up, grabbing in the movie. Allahu Akbar, Allah saved me from that. But he saved us all from that. I mean, it's damaging beyond what you can think. In conclusion, all of those great imams, which will have part two, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik bin Anas, Imam Shaikh, and Imam Ahmed, that had statements about, because the issue is, again, we look to scholarship for understanding. But we don't just stick to somebody because who he is, except the messenger. Even with the companions, if they brought something that the Prophet didn't bring, unless it matches what the Prophet brought, unless it matches from the Quran, we can't take it. We can't take it. We changing, we had to change everything. We came from Kufr and Shirk saying Jesus is our Lord, and we said God. We had to change everything, even who we called our Lord Allah. People don't think about that. We didn't eat sitting on the floor. We used to get beat if you sat on the floor. That's ill mannered. Sit in the chair. We sit on the floor. We prayed sitting on the bench with shoes on, with our hands together. We pray now standing, bowing, raising on all seven. We had to make a whole change. And we don't say one time, well, we didn't know that, well, that we weren't raised Muslim. Well, why they teach us? Nah. If it comes to you, no matter what you learn back home, check it. If it comes to your parents, raise you on that, maybe they did the best they could, but they were wrong. You have a responsibility. I have a responsibility, as all of these imams mentioned. Imam Malik, he said, Abu Hanifa, he said, لا يحل أحد. It is not permitted. Listen, he didn't say okay. He said permissible. لا يحل لأحد أن تأخذ من قولي ما لا يعلم أين أخذناه. It's not permissible for anyone to take my statement till he knows where we got the statement from. Is it from Quran? Is it from Sunnah? And they said it's better to err on the Sunnah than to be right with trying to make a guess. Because again, it's part of the whole meaning of Shahada to Muhammad. We only worship Allah based on what he came with. Imam Malik, he said, إِنَّنِي أَنَا بَشَرٌ أُصِيبُ وَأُخْطِيبُ. I'm a human. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. And we get mad when we wrong. Listen, I make a lot of mistakes. That's Imam Malik saying sometimes he's right and wrong. Who am I? I can't make a mistake. But my good, I have, like he has his good. You're good, like you have your bad, you have your good. He said, I'm a human being. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. فانظر إلى الرأي. Look at what I say and do. فما وفق بكتابي وسنتي فخذوه. Whatever is in line with the book of Allah, the Quran, the Sunnah of the Messenger, so the authentic Sunnah. And this is a legacy in this masjid. We try to be upon that. May Allah make us and help us to be. Ameen. Then he said, فخذوه. Then that's what you take. فمن لم يوافق بكتابي وسنتي فاتركوه. Then throw it, get rid of it, discard it. Imam al-Shafi'i who said, اجمعوا العلماء على أنه لا يحل لأحد إذا استبنى سنة رسول الله أن تأخذ يهوق من قول أحد كما قيل. That it is consensus of all scholars of Ahlul Sunnah that didn't deviate. When there is clearly some statement of the Prophet, that you don't take anybody's statement over the Prophet's statement. And lastly, Imam Ahlul Sunnah, Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, he said, لا تقلدوا مالك ولا تقلدوا لا تقلدوني ولا مالك ولا شافعي ولا أبي حنيفة. He said, don't blind follow me. That's Imam Ahmed. Don't blind follow Imam al-Shafi'i, who was his student and his teacher. Don't blind follow Imam Malik, wala Abi Hanifa. What's the point? It's a love relationship. It's a commitment, O servant, between you, your Lord, and your messenger. And everything we do is not going to be right, but we have to try. And just because you don't hear something, just because it seems new, just because you didn't learn it, just because back home it didn't go down like that, doesn't mean that it's wrong. From what we have to do as we turn back to the book of the Sunnah, and Allah has made that easy for us in this day and time. Wa aqimu salat.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة. قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Finish the lines, straighten the lines, please. If there's a room in the line in front of you, go to that and finish the lines.
شيخ بدك تليفون؟
نعم.
تليفون؟
نعم. شكرا بارك الله فيكم.